Hello, welcome class. Now in this video, we're going to talk about the ICT illustration for grade 9, the most essential learning competencies or lessons in ICT, quarter 1, week 1, module number 2. So in module number 2, its name is environment and market, and the learning outcome that we are going to master is recognize and understanding market in illustration. Learning outcome number 2 is recognize potential customer market in illustration. Before anything else, I'd like to talk on what is environment and market, the principles of environment and market, the learning outcome number 1, and learning outcome number 2, how we are going to derive on those learning outcome to fully understand the module for environment and market. So you have already answered the first module, and you just need to enjoy answer the module by yourself. If you need guidance, assistance, just feel free to chat, and also assist, ask your parents to help you out with the materials that's being given to you. In this part of module, it's the same with the first module that's given to you, and if you still have problems, we can actually help you directly by chatting and by Google Meet. You can post a comment in this video as well and directly ask questions how we're going to answer. Also in the Facebook group that you have, you can also collaborate while answering some activities with your classmates, but not totally all the answers that you're going to seek. Let's start the expectation in this module. So we are going to teach you the following learning outcomes. The first one is recognize and understanding market in illustration. As 1.1 is identify the competitors within the town. 1.2 is identify the different products and services available in the market. Learning outcome number 2, recognize the potential customer market in illustration. 2.1, identify the profile of potential customers. 2.2, identify the customer's needs and wants through consumer analysis. 2.3, conduct consumer and market analysis. 2.4, create business vicinity map reflective of potential market in the ICT business within town or municipality. So let's get started with the lecture. With this module, we are going to make a pre-test and answer it via Google Meet in your classroom. This is the pre-test. We're going to upload it in your Google Classroom. So just wait for the link. We're going to send it, and please answer it as honest as possible as you can. In looking back to your lesson, simply explain this task activity number 2. Directions: search from old newspaper, magazine, an image of businessman, cut and paste it to TLE worksheet. Draw 6 arrows and list down 6 characteristics of successful entrepreneur. The one that we are talking about is that you need to include the specs that we have discussed in the module number 1. So what are those specs? You can cut out pictures, or you can search over the internet and then paste it to your task activity number 2. That's looking back to your lesson. So in introduction, let's talk about environment and market. But before anything else, I'd like you to know the meaning of environment in Filipino. That's what we call paligid, kapaligiran, environment. And market, it's pamilihan, palengke. So what is environment and market? In illustration, we're talking about the generic environment and market, but how we're going to relate it to illustration. We know for a fact environment and market is very huge topic for every TLE course. It's being discussed. It's one of generic topic that's being discussed in the first few weeks, but we have to be specific on this. We are already in the ICT specialization course, which is grade 9. Okay, environment and market is really important for grade 9 ICT illustration. How? The first question that we need to answer, and it will be collaborative. I'll be checking out your answers from yourself during our Google Meet. So, how we are going to apply the environment and market in ICT illustration? That's the first question that you need to answer from me. Lesson number 1: what is market? I'm not going to explain everything. This module is made for you to self-understand, self-recognize the learning of environment and market. Another tip of learning is that you have to identify the words being described by the module. What is market? Market's just a place, point which buyers and sellers negotiate, exchange. So if there's a market, there's an exchange of goods and products and services. ICT illustration can be, a product or service that we're selling, but technically a service in general, and we have an output to sell. It's either the service itself or the end product or the finished product we produce from the service that we have done. So one of the example is a painting in ICT illustration, because ICT illustration will teach you how to draw, the basic fundamentals of drawing. You are going to create a portrait of a person. You're going to create copying an object, like drawing an object, and you're going to paint, color it using manual painting procedures. And also we have different digital paintings that can be converted into an art, can be sold digitally or can be sold in actual printed art. So the next thing is that remembering what market concept is. Market are fundamentally about supply and demand. Most markets rely on sellers offering their goods in exchange for the money from buyers. So what is the law of supply and demand? It's basically tackled in economics. Law of supply and demand. I'm not going to mention everything about law of supply and demand, but you have to know the principles of it. Okay, so what's the law of supply and demand? You have to ask your mother, you have to ask your classmate, you have to ask your AP teachers, social economics teachers, and I'm going to ask you in the meeting. So what is the law of supply and demand? Can you give me the principle of law of supply and demand? And you can give examples to it. So most market rely on sellers, and then buyers that's going to buy the products that you have using their skills in ICT illustration. So that's how it is. So if we are going to closely look at the diagram, we have the place, price, promotion, people, process, physical environment, product. So we have all the piece of marketing. That's what we call piece of marketing or business. And this piece are really important in considering a marketplace. A marketplace environment and a market is equivalent to a marketplace. So moving on, letter B. What is the concept of a market? So first is that we have commodity and products. Commodity are essential basic goods, other finished products that's gonna be tangible or can be intangible. So that's that type of product that we can give to our clients using ICT, but definitely can be sold to customers, consumers. So there's two different kind of category: consumer and customer. Customer to be considered that they are the one who buys the product, the tangible product. Consumers, same concept, they buy the tangible products but consumes the product. So these things are consumables, so that's why they are called consumers. So they consume something about the product. Clients and customers to be called in general those who buy the products. Consume, who these are types of customers who consumes the product. So technically, the one that consumes the product are called consumers, and the one who use the product for self fulfillment is called customer. So that's one basic principle about the type of customer that we are talking about. So B, buyer sellers. What is a buyer? What is a seller? So of course there's an exchange between the two type of people, buyer and seller, which is the composition of the marketplace. If there's no buyer, there's no seller. Usually the one who sells the product, who get income to the products that they sell, and buyers who look for the product and pay for cash as an exchange for the product. So next, letter C is area. Area is a place, no, in which it's a kind of location that you are destined to sell something for the sellers. So you are not going to sell products that's not needed in certain places. So that's one principle that applies to all. In the basic principle marketplace, they strategically look for a place to engage business. So D, communication. What is communication? This is sales talk. This is important for everyone. Okay, so if we're going to engage the business, you have to communicate with the buyer. If you're the seller, and for the buyer, you have to inquire with the seller and make negotiations on the prices. So lower the price, you can actually get a good deal, promos, and have a business with that. So competition runs between sellers and sellers. This is really important because competitions are, the better you compete, the better you give feedback to your customers, the better you provide products for your customers or consumers like buyers, the better you can grow. The sales that you can produce, from selling the products, the goods, services that's needed by the people. So we have type of competitors over here. First is direct, next is indirect, third one is replacement. So let's consider first one, direct competitors. These are same products and services that you are offering to your customers in the market. Indirect competitors, another company that offers same product services, however the end goal are different. These competitors seeking grow revenue with a different strategy. What is the example of indirect competitor? So will you give us example of indirect competitor? Like indirect competitor in a way that you have the same category but a different kind of products that you're selling. So if one establishment is selling shawmai, the one shawmai bread, and other seller or other business is selling food, ulam, that's indirect competition. It's a direct competition in a way, but in terms of category, they are the same. They are in a different variant of products, services that they are offering. So this one. So replacement competitor is considered someone who can replace the product services altogether by providing a new solution. They can provide a newer, faster, more productive solution or product. And there's a little way you can do to prevent consumers from preferring those options. Replacement competitor is one of the types of competitor that's really tough. So it's a direct or it can be indirect competition between those two types of competitors, which can replace the existing business itself. So the one that we experience right now is we have the traditional SM that has kind of place, and we have Shopee, we have Lazada. These are digital e-commerce market. That's everything you are going to buy, look for is also inside Shopee and Lazada, so as well as in the supermarket like SM. So that's replacement competitor. So they are direct, at the same time indirect competitors with those kind of types. So in business environment, if you are the seller or a business owner, uh, it's most important that you know how to do SWOT analysis. What is SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis is the strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat. These are the things that we're going to do in uh, our module. We're going to make SWOT analysis, environmental scanning, before you engage in the business. And we're going to talk about SWOT analysis in other video. That's it. I guess we have tackled environment and market. Like, you know, environment plus market is equals to a marketplace. So that's what the term is all about. And I hope you find this video helpful. So that's all for this video, and we hope you learn a lot from discussing environment and market.